Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to all of you. So today we're going to continue another chapter, which is chapter 9, and it is about international political economy. So let's start our chapter 9. Okay, so this is chapter 9 about international political economy. So this chapter is about we're going to discuss about political economy and why economy being linked with political. So in every state, economy factor is very important thing. Although in IR we stated that security is very important at the first place, and second, to develop and then to create a good conducive environment, as well as to make the state stable. So you need to have a good in terms of economic conducive. Okay, so international political economy, it is a interplay or economic and politics in the world affairs. So most of the core question being asked by the scholar is which is the drive and explain event in the world economy. So world market and country, local firms and multinational corporation which trade and investment within them, all shaped by layers of rules, norms, law, organization, and even habits. So if you look at the world itself, so we have actually a good conducive in terms of market, so we do trades, uh, we investment, we do some investment, and then we have the norms and also law in terms of that. We do franchising, we have organizations. So it is called economy. Okay, so political scientists, it is called institutions. Okay, which means the government. Okay, the government, which is the institutions. So IPE explain what creates and perpetuates institutions and what impact institutions have on the world economy. Okay, the politics of economic relationships. Okay, the studies of the fundamental tension, so between a dynamic interactions of two spheres, okay, of life, which is the various called society and individuals, politics and economy, or state and markets. Okay, so we divided into three segment. Okay, the first which be the society. So in terms of society environment, so it actually uh, connects with the individuals, right? So we as a society, right? So we are individual. So politics means connects with economic. Okay, so they run the economy, they actually initiate the markets, right? And then state is the market actually. Okay, so political economy is about the lines that both connect and divide national interest from individual and self-interest. Okay, so the definitions of international political economy is an interaction of the market and powerful actor such as state, multinational corporation, international civil society, and also international organization regime. So it means the things that they done, okay, in terms of business or in terms of economic itself. Okay, and international relation plus political economy. It is a fusion of economic and also political analysis in international relations. So it is a change of perspective from state as a unilateral actor, which means of political economy, to state within the international system, which is IPE, international political economy. How the interactions of different model of domestic political economy. So they have two. The first is influential by using international trade, investment, as well as finance. Second, for example, lead the formations of international organization treaty and association. For example, like we used to have after 90s on our 90s, we you have heard about the TPPA agreement, all the treaties of economic, so lead to the international formations of international economic treaty or institution. We have World Bank, we have WTO, we have OPEC, lead for palm oil, no, crude oil. So they are the leaders in terms of information. So what is international politics all about? So the scope, IPE studies the interactions of state and market. So state associated with pursuit of power. Okay, state make the decisions. Okay, state actually create the economic conducive economic system. So market associated with pursuit of wealth. You have good wealth, for example, you have natural resources. That is your market. So it's associated to pursue wealth. If you have a good in terms of economic condition, so you can do some investment to the state, right? Second, tension between state and market. So state seek to increase power. State obviously wanted to increase power. Okay, and then market associated with reduced state power. Okay, so market, why? Because we want to make friends. When we do some business trade. So it equal power. Okay, to other state. Okay, win-win situation concept, right? So support relationship between state and market. So state create conditions for market. So state create the market. For example, protect private property, create trade agreement, and then wealth is essential to military power. So if you have wealth, so you can become good on in terms of military power. You have money to build up your military power. For example, China, Russia, US, etc. Okay, IPE study life in a global economic. Okay, focus on political battle between the winner and loser from economic change. So economic gain are not equal distribute among individuals. Although all society benefit from participations in the global economy, so these gains are not distributed evenly among individuals. So global economic exchange rate raise the income of some people and lower the income of others. Okay, so it is a laissez-faire lah. So for whoever fully utilize the market, fully utilize the economy, you can raise up your economic condition. For those, you have to face the consequence lah. So that's why liberalism perspective. Okay, so on way to understand the basic of economic IPE is to pick apart this time. So in terms of internationally, so it deals with issues that cross national borders and with relations between and among nation state. That is international. So political is that involve the use of state power to make a decision about what gets what, when, where, and in the society. So the political process is complex and multi-layer. So involving nation state, bilateral relations among nation state and many international organizations, for example, regional alliance and also global agreement. So they are the player in terms of the IPE. And the last will be the economy. So means that the idea with how scarce resources are allocated to different users and distribute among individuals through the decentralized market process. Okay, so economic analysis and political analysis often look at the same question, but economic analysis focus less on issues of power and national interest, and more on issues of wealth and income and individual interest. Political economy, therefore, combine these two ways of looking at the world in order to grasp more fully society fundamental nature. Okay, so next we look at the first principle, which is the state and market. Okay, wait for a while. Okay. So state and market. So think of political economy. Okay, as a field of study that analyze the problem in question arising from parallel, existent, and dynamic interaction of state and market in modern world. So political economies focus on the basic conflict that exists between the interests of the individual and the broader interests of the society in which the individual existed. So in other sense, political economy is the field that applied economic principle to the analysis of political decision making. So how well do various decision making procedure translate to preference of their citizens into collective action? Okay, so state and market. So state had to do decision making lah in terms of market. If you, for example, to involve in treaty, for example, right? So the state have to make decision. Is it we want to involve in treaty? It has a benefit, a lot of benefits. For example, by Malaysian joining the ASEAN, European Union, treaty agreement between the EU state to form an international economic organization, which is called the European Union. So more or less, it will actually benefit or disbenefit. It depends on the political will itself. Okay, to put in other way, so political economy is the study of the tension between the market, where individual engage in self-interest activity and state, where those some individual undertake collective action which is in the national interest or in the interest of a broadly defined community or society. In short, political economy look at the foundation tension between economic and politics. So, if let's say they can get like opportunity, in terms of market expel, so they will join uh, they will join the trade. Okay, so and also politics can be used as a bad way, to sanctions of the state to prohibit them to do the bad things in the international society, right? So what is international political? First, political economy is political that in that it involves the use of state power to make decision again about who gets what, when, and how, why in the distributions of public goods and also social values. Second, political economy is about the economy or economics, which means that it deals with how scarce resources are allocated to different use of good distribute among the actors. So as the term suggests, political economy brings together both political and also economic consideration in allocating resources. So to understand political economy, we move to a bit more focused direction. So what is political economy? So it is a struggle. Economy is one arena which the struggle for freedom, equality is reality. So interaction between political and economy institution in any country has an impact on the prosperity of the citizens. So the study of how political and economy are related and how their relationship shapes the balance between freedom and equality is known as political economy. And then next, the political economy of a nation refers to how the political, economic, and legal system of the country are interdependent, kebergantungan. So they interact and also influence each other. They affect the level of economic well-being in the nation. Okay, state and market, both contains both are very important things. Okay, so state relay as a collective action is a decision making, so it's a political. Market is economy, so rely on individual action or decision. So market usually means the economic institutions of modern capitalism. Society can be both. It can be because individuals, right? So state who political who make decision, or in terms of state who make decisions. Okay, the parallel existence of state, political, markets, economy create fundamental tensions that categorize political economy. So state and market do not always conflict, but they do overlap to such a degree that their fundamental tension is apparent. Okay, state and market is a different entity, but yet they have to they have some area that they have to link to each other. Okay, later on I will show you the gap lah. Okay, so this is the geometry of IPE. If you can look a big round will be the society. So inside the society they have two entity, which is economy and political. Okay, the redundance of economy and political, that is what we call the international political economy. Okay, Susan Strange, a scholar professor of IPE, says that the concerns that social, political, and economic argument affected the global system of production. So enhance and distributions and the mix of value reflected therein. So those agreements are not divine, ordained, nor are they outcome of blind change. Rather, they are the result of human decision taken in the context of man-made institutions and sets of self-sets rules and custom. So the definitions of IPA give equal weight to social, political, and economy agreement and stresses that IPA is not just the study of institutions or organization, but also of the values they reflect. So state and market are connected by global system of production, exchange, and also distribution. So which are terms as a structures of the IPE. So therefore, look at the way that the state and the market are of the world are connected to one another, and the agreements of all structure they have involved to connect them. So this agreement reflects a lot of things. For example, history, culture, values, and also they change and will continue change in the future. It depends on the situation lah. Okay, let's look at the structure of international IPE. So, international politics is a network of bargain between and among state that deal in power and market that deal with wealth. So this bargain determine the production, exchange, distributions of wealth and power. So bargain can take many forms. So some are formal agreements signed, ratified, and also enforced. Other bargain are merely conventions, understanding of rules of thumb. So some IPE bargain reflects what Professor Strange called relations power, relational power, which is the power of one player to get another to do or not do something. Okay, so this is Susan Strange. Okay, the structure of IPE. So according to Susan Strange, have four global structure. The first will be the security, second production, third finance, and then knowledge. Okay, so the security structure. So security from natural forces or from the threats of actions of others is perhaps the most basic needs human needs. So when one person or group provides security for another to or contributes to the security, so a security structure is created. So the nature of the security structure was a contributing factor in the debate over China most favorite nation status in 1994. Sometimes China has been thought as a threat to US security interests. At the other time, so it has been seen as a part of territorial balance of power along with the US and also Soviet Union. So until 1970s, all trade with China was forbidden from national security reason. Although this ban is now gone, it is clear that uncertainty and doubt remain regarding with threats, if any. So China represent the US, so the security question tempers to some degree relation between US China in all area. Okay, we look at the production itself. So the production structure can be defined as the sum of all agreement determined with is produced. So by whom and for whom, by what method and on what terms. So production is the act of creating wealth, and wealth is nearly always linked to the power. So these issues of who produce what and for whom there lies in the heart of international political economy. So not it is because not every state has natural resources. So some state has natural resources, some state do not has. For example, crude oil, petrol, petroleum, not all state have. So which is have the natural resources, so they actually helps the production structure, and then will get benefits lah, including all lah, not only to the resources state but other state also. Okay. Okay, this structure change affects the distribution of wealth power in the world, therefore the impact of structure of IPE. Okay, next we go to financial. So financial, who has money lah, money flow between among nation. So who has access to money? So mana negara kaya, so dia akan dominant lah. Okay, this is about the finance. Okay, the knowledge, who knowledge can lead to the wealth. Okay, for example, knowledge you can invent, you can build in terms of a lot of things, in terms of innovation, your produce, industrial technology, medical procedure, so a lot of things. So technology is very important. Okay, the presidents of this is Bill Clinton says that 1994 the most favorite nation, China. Okay, now we move to the paradigm of international political economy. So this is the paradigm. Okay, so the right and leftists. Okay, the right means that more right, so more government intervention, less government intervention, so more liberalism lah. Liberalism maksudnya it means that government not control the economy become more laissez-faire, more liberal, like American. So more left, so it will government may control more. For example, we are in the middle. Okay, Malaysian are in the middle. For example, the North Korea, so they are, because most of the leftists, they are not a wealth nation, so they need a government to run the economy. If not, they cannot produce or the market. Okay, this is Convonium of Perspective. You can just read it about the link between the IR theory and also IPE theory related elements in both. You just read it. Okay, so analytical perspective of political economy. So in terms of liberalism perspective, is focused on individual, household, enterprise. Liberalism promote a good economic conditions, conducive. So nature of economic, harmonious, interest, reconcilable. So relation between economic politics, the economic drive politics, yes, because lesser involvement political in terms of economic factor. Okay, realism focus on state. Okay, so it is conflict towards. Mainly state will win, and anything they will do, they will think about state. That's why we say it's a zero-sum game. So relationship, politics drive the economy. Okay, structuralism, win-win situation. So focus on class, society, social force. So in terms of nature of economy, it's a conflict world. So it's a zero-sum game also. Then in terms of economic drive the politics. So alternative perspective of globalization. So the definitions of abounding, deepening, and accelerating of interconnectedness of state and market networks of connection at intercontinental distance. So alternative views from hyper-globalists to skeptics. So what do we care? By creating a dissonance between the jurisdictions of state and the domains of market, so globalize, problematize governance. So who is in charge? So globalized, one of the biggest issues lah, that actually good in terms of economy, but yet it will also affect the political structure in the state also. Okay, perspective on causes and consequence. For example, A, liberalism, so time of market, so you promote good economic welfare, and it drivens the economic factor. So realism, focus on product for state supply, for example, military equipment, bad for powers of state. So the third will be the structuralism, so time of market, so bad for poor state and the advantage classes. They will divided by class. Okay, the world economic today, so major development. Now we have secular stagnations, then shifting balance of power. Now we can see that the worlds are not unipolar, so it is balance of power, and also emerge of the group G20 lah. Okay, G20 ni group of biggest in terms of economy, so they form a G20, and also they discuss every occasion they will discuss about the economic factor throughout the world. So political economy issues, so what account for the growth slowdown? So can growth be restored, or where will leadership came from? So this is the futures that we need to ask. Okay, we move 5 international trade. Trade are important. So a lot of things happen because of trade. No advantage of the free trade is efficiency, growth. Disadvantage of the free trade, dependence. We depends on other state in terms of product, right? It will actually lose the state intention if it, the produce factor. Okay, we need to produce product, not we depend on other state to buy. Collective action and problem, how to manage the basic tension. Okay, this is the international trade. Okay, post-war experience. So we have WTO, we have GATT, GATT, General Agreement on Treaty. So it proposed liberalizations, more expand, and a lot of things will resolve. For example, dispute resolutions. For example, in the EU, European Union, so they formalize what European Union, so they actually resolve the dispute resolution. Principle non-discrimination, reciprocity, so safeguard. The third will be the protectionism, so actor behavior, so it is an instrument of trade policy. And then argument for protections, practical motivators. Okay, managing the system, what we call it system government, in terms of political economy. First, you promote it's a promote of liberalization. If you open your market, you will promote liberalization. For example, what happened to China? China itself, in terms of political, they are communist factor, but yet when they open the market, they structure back the political system, economic system, so they actually promote liberalizations. Then dispute resolution, minimize the issues, when you have economic integration, and it gives safeguard. For example, what happened to the Greece considered as bankrupt state, but yet when they belongs to EU, so it actually promotes safeguards to the state, and also other current issues. From multilateralism to regionalism. Okay, so type of trade, regional trade agreement. So a lot lah. We have multilateralism, for example, OPEC, WTO. Regionalism, we have ASEAN, we have EU, right? So they have a lot of advantages for individual country and overall trade system. For example, trade creations and so trade diversion. So the post-war experience. So we don't have any regional trade agreement. And then after post-war, that's why we have after Cold War, 90s started trade agreement. Here we have the AFTA, the NAFTA, right? We have TPPA and other things. Okay, money and finance, basic issue as a trade, tension between desire for the multilateral benefit of an open system and pressure to promote defense, state and or particularist interest. So basic concept, balance of payment or deficit lah. Okay, this is the monetary process lah. Okay, financing, reverse borrowing, liquidity. This is the terms lah. Term basic in terms of economic. Okay, balance of payment ni hutang. For example, you have 100 million. So you pay that 50 million, balance 50 million is a balance of payment lah. Okay, this is post-war experience. When post-war experience, so we managed to initiate IMF. World consider IMF is a international monetary funds that provide assistance to the state that need help in terms of money. And then we use Bretton Woods system. And then we have financing factor, so use US dollar as a currency, and also they have capital markets, and a lot of breakdown happened. For example, 1997 currency wars. So and it will actually help to make adjustment. And then until now, we still face financial crisis. You know, a lot of state now because of COVID pandemic involved in debt and it actually is not good. Okay, but you have to manage system. So how you do manage system? The first exchange rate. Okay, for example, US dollar. If you want to do trade, most of the state now using US dollar to calculate. So internationally, we have international capital market. So we have international currency. But the question until until now, so who is in charge actually? Is it the nation in charge the whole IPE trade factor, or just the state itself? That's the biggest question until now. Still need to be resolved. Okay, economic development. So the developing world, economic development basically focus on the growth of engines, you know, the developments of the cities, all infrastructure, educational, you know, macroeconomic stability. This is what we call economic development. Okay, why has trade failed as an engine of growth for so many? So why fail? The first, liberalism factor. So market failure. So market are weak, demand, you know, weak linkages, don't have any trade policy, weak adaptive capacity, it will fail. If we look at the structuralism, so natural result of capitalist exploitation. So the capitalists exploit the market and it will collapse. The realism, result of the power politic lah, because the role of great power is writing the rules. Okay, so realism factor more on they don't actually rely on, they don't like to do the multilateralism factor. Okay, so they don't like to they want to remain in power, you know, become silo, become unilateral. Okay, we look at the energy itself. Energy. Okay, the importance of world single most widely trade production. So which is the oil, the crude oil. Okay, the first regime is the Seven Sisters. So a classical cartel, successful because it met all three key conditions necessary for success: control of supply, no close substitutes, agreement on sharing of benefit in place until late 1916. And the second, because of the world cannot control the demand and also the supply, and if you do not control the demand and supply, it will actually fluctuate the oil price. You know, if too many barrels of oil in the international trade, it will actually reduce the oil. It will not give a good benefit to the resource state. So that's why they initiate to organize OPEC. So Organization Petroleum Economic Caucus, economic the functions of OPEC is to the ups and down lah, to focus on terms of demand and supply crude oil in international market. Okay, OPEC, the reason for variance of OPEC power over time. So back to the three key conditions of the success cartel. Okay, OPEC biggest challenge is agreement on benefit, limiting free riding. Okay, so not every state who has oil being part of OPEC. So I got some state that don't want to join OPEC because of the free riding process. So if you join OPEC, so you have limited numbers of barrels to produce every month. So it actually perhaps you to produce over. So that's why some state don't want to become members of OPEC. Okay. Okay, we look at MNC. MNC is very important nowadays. Multilateral company, so a lot of this is like franchise also. So we look at the theoretical perspective. So the risk factor. So MNC often seen as agent of home countries. Okay, so it's like the release people don't like. For example, they always says that the MNC is like spies, you know. So bad to host country. It brings a lot of bad things to the host country. So historical structure, a critical perspective, it is a dependency. MNC managed to undo the development. So local key production, dependency theory lah. For example, you depend on the state, on the product, on the service. Okay, and then the last will be the Gramscian's theory. So MNCs are basis of transnational capitalist hegemony. So international economic cooperation will probably help MNC, but not the betterment of global society. Okay, this is history. You can just read it about history. Okay, nothing else. Okay, okay, the last prospect for futures. Okay, post-war period has seen major structural changes. The first distribution of power between state from multipolar to bipolar and then to unipolar. So distribution of power between state and market, a lot from the good economic, from industrialization until I said got financial crisis until now. So global security environment unchanging is uncertainty. So anything will happen. So future scenario, a lot of things will actually will lead, or it will create something in the future. So for example, automaticity. So is it now our state become more expand and then borderless, you know? So World Economic Government. So who is actually, so many says that UN will become World Economic Governments, you know, supranationality. But who knows? Until now, still state remain as a actor in IR, main actor in IR. Renewed hegemony. So who is become the superpower next? Who, right? So cooperative regimes become more relevant. You know, governance lead by MNC become more expand. You know, you can see right now MNC lead the most of the state in terms of the monopolize. So a lot of things. Okay. So that's all for chapter 9. Now we move to the last chapter, which is chapter 10. Kejap ya. Okay, so we move to the second. Okay, the last chapter, which is the issues in IR. This is a short chapter, something for you to know. So, what currently happen throughout the world. Okay, so let's move to the slide. Okay, the security dilemma. Until now, issues of security will become an important things throughout the world. Not only in terms of war, in other threats. Okay, so now non-traditional threat shifting to the asymmetric threats, which is threat that can define as unpredictable spectrum of military, paramilitary, and information operation conducted by nation organization. For example, terrorism. Okay, benda-benda yang luar jangka. Tengah-tengah, you all in the one town, suddenly bomb blasted. So that is called asymmetric threats. Okay, unpredictable. Uh, Unpredictable attack. So asymmetric threat now is considered as a future war. So we deal to into what extent. So threat outside the range of all conventional war are and difficult to respond in kind. So asymmetric threat we cannot notice, we cannot know, we cannot uh, respond. So it's very difficult. Okay. So if the enemy is superior in strength, and with him. If his forces are united, separate them, attack him where he is unprepared, appear where you are not expected. Okay, types of war, lot. This is future war. So things that happen right now. So asymmetric warfare, terrorism, cyber war, drone warfare, and also military. That's a complex. So the future war will become more dramatic and more worse. So today terrorists can strike at any place, anytime, and with virtually any weapon. Okay, so this is very a problem. So a lot of things happen. A lot of things in the world wanted to eradicate or demolish terrorism. We have a lot of effort being done, but yet still terrorism also become more wider and wider. It actually create problematic throughout the nations. Okay, the next will be the state of the south. Okay, so the poor, the gap lah between the poor state and also the high income state. Okay, the third world country, less developed country, LDC, underdeveloped country, or developing country. So they divided by the state lah. The poor state will become LDCs, and also UDCs, and then the high income state. So scholars do not agree on. So about 1 million people live in abject poverty. So no access to basic nutrition. For example, the healthcare. Okay. So something new to ponder. So this is in Nigeria. So people living in extreme poverty. Nigeria has the largest extreme poverty population in 2008. So about 86.9 millions are live in poverty until now. So something to ponder lah. A lot of people are still live in poverty. World hunger. This is one issues that happen in throughout the world. So of all basic needs of people in the global south, the most central is food, malnutrition, hunger. You just imagine now more than 820 million people. If you divide it into 1 in 8 worldwide are in hunger. Okay, rural communities and farming colonized disrupted. So shifting to commercial farming, cash crops, discipline of substance farmers from the land. So impact to international food aid. So it will actually impact international food aid. So don't waste. Okay, so still a lot of people can't eat. So people facing food shortage by continent. Okay, actually food insecure population. So imagine in Africa, 73 millions people needs food, so shortage. So in Europe, Middle East and Asia, 43 million. If you live in poor, still not get food. Okay, this is from sources BBC, 2020, last year. Migration refugees. This until now, millions of people from the global south have crossed international border, often illegally, to reach the north. Okay, the home state not obligate to migration procedure complex pattern of, and then most industrialized state trying to limitize immigrations from the migration or refugees itself. A lot of issue we also affected migration and also refugees, right? So if you look at the graph, so this is UNHCR, United Nations High Commissions of Refugees. So 79.5 million possibly displaced people were at the end of 2009. Still, 26 people are millions of refugees. So the rest will be the asylum seekers, Venezuelan displaced abroad. This is in not America, and then internally displaced people. So still, and then national integration. So reason of regional integration now become more prominent in the world. So people, no state feel that regional integration can close the gap of unilateral by by the US. People are now going to multilateral. So it give economic enhance, free trade, FDI. So in terms of political reasons, so and also the impediments. So uh, it's a linkage of economic, create interdependency, and then a lot of things. But the impediments, the obstacle is painful adjustment in certain segment of economy, and then it will be threat to the national sovereignty. So for example, the EU lah. Okay, environmental issue. Nowadays, can look at a lot of things happen in the world. Okay, global issues, problem in water dispute, waterways, food problem, change the earth climate, the ozone become more thin and thin, air pollution happen, it actually not improve the greenhouse effect, and then land pollution and also destructions of soil over, a lot of things happen in the world. So we need to overcome these issues to live healthier in the peaceful world. So 10 human causes of global warming. So this is what global warming become a more impact throughout the world. So it will actually make the world become more hot, and it's not good for the world. Okay, so this is vice versa. So you can just nothing. This is for the uh, vice versa international study and international relations. Okay, so this is our studies, our discipline. So thank you so much for the semester. So we already done chapter. This is the chapter 10 from first chapter. So I would like to say thank you to you. Again, inshallah, if we have time, we gonna meet in other classes. So thank you for your time, and have a nice day. Okay.